This is the virtual happy hour experience with the Drunken Grape. I am your host, Rob, and we have an exceptional guest today. He is a humanitarian, he is a freestyle rap and hip hop artist. He is also in the world of AI and automation, and the impact he has made to make so many people's lives better has been tremendous. He is one of the most creative individuals I've ever met on LinkedIn, whether he's portraying Superman or Abraham Lincoln. Let me introduce to you, ladies and gentlemen, the tremendous and great Rob Howes. Rob, how you doing today, buddy?
Rob, man, it's a pleasure to be here. Pleasure for us to finally talk. Pleasure to talk to somebody with such a wonderful name as well. And
The
look,
two
Rob,
Robs.
and
How could this possibly go wrong?
and look, and when I was 18, I just happened to put it on my arm like a smart guy, right?
Hold on, the screen just blocked out. We'll catch the screen for a second. You kind of went blurry there, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Rob, you have a very interesting background. We have a lot of dynamic guests on this show, and it's always exciting to share drinks, extraordinary drinks with extraordinary people is the theme. Obviously, I'm a sommelier and a beer sommelier. And how did you get started? You have a fascinating background. I mean, you are also a songwriter. We might even get you to freestyle today a little bit, but how did you get started in everything that you're doing? You have a fascinating background.
Thanks, Rob, man, for asking that. You're right. It's a lot of different things, lot of moving parts. Because I've been around for a little bit of time here, a few decades. Tasting different things, man. I studied psychology, personal training, neuroscience, quantum mechanics. I was a pastor for 10 years because I want to study the spirit. So when you talk about the mind, talk about the body, you talk about the soul. Like I want to know about it all. So I've been dipping and diving. And so over the last 3 years, I've been really because I've been into technology forever, but for the last 3 years, I've been really into just building this relationship with the community and teaching people how to use technology to better themselves. So I call myself a humologist, which comes from the word humology, which is the integration of humans and technology. And you think about humans and technology, you can think about it on a micro level, like how we use our phones to track our steps to understand the metrics of how much workout we're getting in, on a macro level, or to a macro level, how we automate businesses and save them millions of dollars a year. So, it's everything from there to in between, man. I want to help people out and empower them. I gave you a mouthful, man. It's a big mouth.
Yeah, well, empowerment's massive, and this world needs a lot of personal empowerment today. I mean, you're looking at engagement as an all-time low. You're looking at employee satisfaction as an all-time low. I don't recall the world in my near 5 decades of being alive on it. Um, Having morale in the western part of the world, at least, this low. I've never seen it this low before, and to really empower and enlighten people is a very, very important thing.
Hmm. Yeah, it is. Empowerment to me. I'm also an empowerment artist, so I come up with my own 21st century terms because there's a million jobs and opportunities that were not available just 5, 10, 20 years ago. So I'm a humologist and an empowerment artist. And an empowerment artist is someone who empowers people, and the word empowerment just means you help people to turn the light switch on inside themselves. Everybody has the ability to do whatever they need to do: build their business, strengthen their marriage, beat the addiction, whatever it is. But it's finding the power to do it. So when we influence people, we can empower them to find that, turn that light switch on. So that's what I do, and it's necessary, especially right now, because we all know, we had a everyone had a chance to sit down for a minute, and some of us sat down and recognized some things we really didn't like. Some of us sat down and realized that there's some things we really need to change, and it was heavy. So any bit of encouragement and empowerment you can get just helps us keep you sparked, man.
Yeah, and when we think about the pandemic, and we think hospitality for a minute in one of the industries. Hospitality, you're supposed to be hospitable and happy.
Yep, yep.
And the treatment in North America, I mean, Europe has got a great model, but in North America, we haven't really professionalized it. It's treated as transient. Most jobs pay minimum wage. If you're a server or bartender, you rely on tips for a living, so the owner doesn't pay that. There's no benefits in place. And a lot of people sat back and realized, there's tons of articles about this. What was I doing the whole time doing this? And why was I in this industry that long?
Yeah.
And the other part of it is, why was I commuting to the office when all the tech was there to have me work from home, be more productive, be a lot happier, and not stressed out by that ridiculous thing called a commute?
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about
You know?
what this thing did for us is actually this thing being the pandemic. It shut us down and slowed us down, but it actually sped us up. It shut us down and slowed us down, but then actually sped us up because now we're able to communicate, as you were saying earlier. We are what would you say, borderless. You know, there's nothing that can stop the communication. Before we had, you had timelines, you had the construct of a building and travel and all these different things you had to try and do. Now, man, we could just turn on the computer and connect with each other. We can host events, initiatives, you name it, man. We are at we are connected and interconnected more than ever now.
Yeah, and it's so true. And I even look at MySpace. We're going to talk about AI in a second, what you're doing. We're going to have Simply Automate come up. We're going to show that website and share what you're doing. I think it's great. But we look at the space for a minute of virtual. We've had this tech into play for at least 5 to 6 years at a high level. There was no need to do all this corporate travel. Live events in my world, were largely controlled by an older guard of baby boomers who are actually lost on what was modern and new. They were out of touch. It was the same type of event structure with a boring keynote. You have the host bar, cash bar. It's at a hotel. Half the guests don't show up. The other half aren't really engaged, or they're just there to socialize, get some free drinks and food, and leave. And what the virtualization side did during the pandemic was it made people realize that the specialists could come to life, the people who really knew what they were doing as a subject matter
Yeah,
expert.
yeah,
But what it also did for companies was they could engage people now at home where they're a lot happier to be. They can be around their pets, their wives, their kids, loved ones, and they're not stressed out by office politics anymore. And not only that, you wiped out the commute, you wiped out the pain of time to book events. I did a poll on this recently, and it's interesting because it was an equal balance between people annoyed with the commute, the low engagement, um, the cost of planning an event, going through sales teams and event planners that are usually employees. They're not engaged. They just want to make a paycheck. They have a commission target to hit. And then you have staff that are just plausible. They show up, they just do it because it's a job. And you have to worry about all these factors. And then you got to worry about exorbitant costs. Then you got to worry about flying people into from different places. And it's amazing that people hadn't they didn't wake up to this technology until the pandemic hit. And it's a game changer because it's not coming back. You
nope,
think about it.
nope.
People love their screen time. They love to have their me time. They don't want to be stuck in a stuffy office anymore. They don't want the top down management anymore, the push down itself. And in what you're doing, a lot of people don't want to do simple tasks anymore. They would rather automate that to free their time.
Hmm. Yeah, it's true. As a matter of fact, my wife, her cousin, we were just talking to her the other day, and she was at work and then also at home. These two separate days where she said, "Oh, I gotta do this boring work again," and it's almost like 2 hours of just the same old thing. 2 hours of just the same kind of repetitive, redundant, mundane activity. And that's always a part of a process. Unfortunately, that's just what it is. I mean, the stats say 30 to 50% of a process is repetitive, and there's some redundancies in there where it can be automated. You just got to take a look at it. The point behind that is, while my cousin, by marriage, she is a robot currently. She's a robot. So what we do is we actually bring digital employees to take the robot out of the human and let the robot do the robot work. So then the humans can focus on doing things of more value. that bring more value to themselves and to the company. Instead of just pushing keys, now they can be using their brain. They can be doing customer engagement, or they can go home early. We got a law firm of 3 employees. One is the lawyer, very small company, under $1 million, and we save them 40 hours a week. 40 hours a week. And we saved them that in
Wow.
less than 3 weeks, we saved them that. It's 40 hours, over 1,000
Wow.
hours a year, and it's climbing because now what happens is the moment you solve a problem for someone, you give them a digital employee. It's called business automation. RPA, robotic process automation, is the technical term. But think about it like a digital employee,
And
and
that's cool.
you bring them
Yeah,
in,
that's
man.
cool.
Yeah, you bring them in. Let them do that repetitive work. They work all day, 24/7. Don't take breaks. Don't need vacations. Don't talk. Don't start fights in the office. It's you just do whatever you needed to do, and you can do what you need to do. So
Yeah, and this is not going to slow down. I know a lot of people are terrified of losing their jobs, but I mean, who wants to sit at a cashier counter all day long? Or in reality, how many people really enjoy that? I think it's the fear of change, but it's not the fear of losing something that deep down they're not passionate about. And for an operation, these are just either redundant costs or repetitive tasks that you're better off to automate, because wouldn't it be better to have those same people out on the floor, say in a movie theater, engaging people, asking them what they thought of the
yep,
theater,
yep.
handing out surveys to engage on social media,
Come
for
on.
instance, paying them even better wages to come out and to confer and to share that message, as opposed to, hi, sir. Yeah, you want to see, Blade episode 12 in theater 2 today,
Yeah,
and then they
yeah,
punch it in.
yep.
Whereas just automating it simplifies things. And what about scheduling and other tasks, or, scheduling people's emails, or checking up on systems and reports that are repetitive and consistent that could be automated? I mean, if you're a business or a person that's self-employed, especially, why would you want to chew up all this valuable time? Time is your greatest
Oh my
asset.
goodness, the most valuable asset in the world. It's the one thing we don't. It's one thing at the end of everybody's life they wish they had more of. Everybody wish, and it's the one thing that we waste the most of. It's interesting, we'll give away money quickly. We'll give away money quickly, and that's fine. But we give our time away just as fast as our money sometimes, and it's just not equal. You think about it. If someone says, "Hey, you give me, $20," you're like, oh, "Okay, the $50, all right, I can loan to you." If someone would take 10 minutes of your time,
it's
it's not the same.
it's true.
It's like you got to
It's
think about
true,
that, man. Think about that. I mean, your
It's
time is
so true.
super
And on that
valuable.
note, you're right. On that note, I'm cracking for the happy hour, happy hour, the West Mall double. This is double fermented Trappist style beer. So this is monk beer. This is one of 13 monasteries throughout the world that are dubbed Trappist. And they produce some of the finest, richest beers in the world. This is a part of Belgium. I believe it's on the French side. I may be mistaken. But West Mall is one of the more renowned Trappist monasteries. And this goes back from the 5th century with the Benedictines, which
Dang.
became the Cistercians, which then became the Trappist monk order. And it
Wow.
was part of what they can do is brew beer, make cheese or wine to fund the monasteries. And it's like a designated wine region or a grand cru at the highest level. These
Man.
are some of the most sought after beers. They're rare to come across. And think about it, there's only 13 monasteries in the world that are Trappist because they produce their beer all within the walls of the monastery by the monks themselves. They're allowed to hire some outside labor, but it has to be done
That is
all
pretty
within the
cool.
walls of the monastery. What do
Wow.
you have in your hand, Rob? What
Man,
are you
well,
drinking on the
look,
happy
you
hour,
just gave
buddy?
all that history, man. This is just sang, Seagram sangria. There's nothing,
Love sangria.
yeah, nothing major about that. But I do have some monk like. I do got some
Cheers,
monk like.
brother.
I got
Happy
monk like
hour,
qualities.
buddy. Cheers. Yes, you do. Superhuman qualities, in fact.
Cheers, man.
You get a lot of in these things, you get a lot of baking spice notes. There's usually some nice fruit in here, raisin, fig, dates. This one's got a bit of a bread pudding characteristic to it. It's dry, but it's not heavy. It's mid-bodied. Would go well with things like a beef stew. I could just think of it. We're getting into we're into football season now, right? And we're getting into the fall, and the weather starts to change. I think you're in Baltimore, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken, or somewhere
Baltimore
around
Ravens,
there.
man, they play tonight.
But great team. They've got a good shot at winning this year. But it's let's bring up what you have here, because I'm really excited about what you're doing with Simply Automate Inc. And we're going to bring up the screen share here. I'm just going to see if it actually came up. We've got it loading. Let's hope this does it. But, or we'll just take two and try again. But Simply Automate Inc. There we go. You've got all kinds of neat things going on. The fact that you're using AI, there's a guy named Jerry Abiog. I had interviewed him quite a while ago. It wasn't quite with a Happy Hour podcast. This was during COVID. And I'm trying to remember the name of his business, but he uses AI for order taking in restaurants so that people remember who you are. They remember what your preferences are. They remember what you ordered last, what kind of drink you like, what kind of food allergies or sensitivities you have, all these details. So when you go and order, it just brings it up without the person on the phone having to go through the whole process. And then when you arrive to the restaurant, the order is ready for you. I mean, it's just brilliant.
That's brilliant.
And this makes me think of it. So just walk us through a little bit about what you're doing with Simply Automate. You did mention you have RPA. I see services here. You've got the bot store, solutions, resources. I mean, you got all kinds of things going on here.
Yeah, man.
And I think this is really, really cool.
I appreciate it, man. And we are in a cool era, Rob. We're in a cool era where literally we can have robots do the work for us. Okay, I mean literally, and we're just at the tip of the iceberg right now.
Unbelievable.
Like we haven't seen anything yet.
Unbelievable.
When you literally talk about if you're talking about invoice processing, HR, onboarding, offboarding, data extraction, doesn't matter the industry. You can be property management, as you saw, law firms, CPAs,
accounting,
supply chains. It doesn't matter if you have a process if you have a business, you have processes, and if you have processes, you have redundancies in there. So what we do is based off the conversation, we then, after the dialogue, build a diagram that shows you the process you specified, where the automation is taking place, and also what your ROI, return on investment, will be year 1, year 2, and year 3, and before you pay anything. So folks are getting an understanding of how they're going to be automated, what they're going to be saving, what the ROI is going to be, and they haven't paid anything. And it's like, wow. And we want to make that model because that's what you want. You want people to understand what it is that's happening. And if you want to make this thing, you want to try to elementarify this. Okay, I just made that word up. All right, you want to elementarify this, and that means you want as less thinking as possible.
Simplify, basically. Yeah, of course.
Simply automate. Keep things simple. Simplicity leads to understanding. And understanding leads to people taking action. Like simplification leads to understanding. Understanding then leads to taking action. Lights, camera, action. And so, when people come to work and they're doing these repetitive, mundane tasks and they're spending all this energy and time, and there's going to be lack of efficiency because humans, we're not perfect. So we make mistakes. But when you implement a digital employee, technical term, robotic process automation, RPA, there's no flaws. It's fast. It's flawless. It's fast. And all you do is sit back and oversee now. You oversee what's going on. And that, therefore, now you can optimize it and you can enhance it. Yep.
Yeah, and we're looking at all the packages here. I'm just lifting them up. I've got your POC, your bronze, silver, gold. I believe over here is platinum. I see workflow analysis, private team groups, 24/7 support. As they get the package bigger, it's a response time collapses to on demand. So that is just great in itself. That obviously is going towards live support. I mean, you've got a lot of things going on here. Real-time bot monitoring. We know that bots are used extensively now on basic troubleshooting. That saves a lot of companies a lot of money and time on live support for simple queries and questions. Bots are useful. And I look at this workflow analysis, design, development, and deployment. These are some things for sure. I think of the professional companies. I could think of wineries using this. I could think of
Oh my
this is
goodness.
going to hit every industry. The greatest businesses solve problems. And this is solving a myriad of problems. Administration cost and time is the
Oh,
number one and two. Actually, I
oh,
would put
buddy.
administration time. Time is number one. Number two would be your cost of administration. You eliminate that, you can repurpose those people into better roles because I don't recommend firing people, especially if they're good. I recommend repurposing
That's
them
it,
and training them and paying them better into a better
man.
role.
You are on it.
Free them up. Use their talents, man. Don't just shove it out the window because, again, the pandemic has shown us we are frustrated with typical baby boomer-esque past practices of corporate behavior. It just doesn't work anymore.
Boy,
Appealing only to the bottom line of shareholder equity is not the
that's
answer
not the answer.
anymore.
Man, I like
But
that.
what is the answer is folding and maximizing time through process and procedure and making yourself as streamlined and as effective as you possibly can. The greatest businesses of tomorrow are going to be streamlined machines that are not going to be people heavy, but they're going to be people focused,
People focus.
if that makes
Oh my
sense.
goodness, dude. 100%. 100%. And we will be utilizing,
And I see
optimizing.
that doing this.
Yeah, and we're taking technology to the next level, to the next level. And you're right. This is when we move. Our model is people, process, and then technology. Take care of your people, put the right processes down, and then implement the right technologies. You do those three, man. You got yourself a wonderful business and wonderful life. This okay. Take care of the people in your house. All right, make sure you got the processes together. I mean, you can take the trash out on every day, son, in the morning time. Okay, and then add the right technology to it so that we have everything flowing the way we need it. It works
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're so right. And the process of it all is to really maximize things. I mean, if this helps people create greater passive income, they've won because passive income's the answer. Trading time for money is not the answer. Creating passive income is. And this is something that, if you're watching this, we're going to have the show notes here. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share this video. Make sure to definitely reach out to Rob. I'm going to have all the details to connect with Rob through his company website, his LinkedIn profile. Make sure that you connect with this man. He's extraordinary. You're truly an extraordinary individual. I'm so glad to have a drink with. Again, cheers,
Cheers,
brother.
man.
Glad you're enjoying a great glass of sangria. You can also have white sangria. You know that,
Oh
eh? You
yeah,
can take
yeah.
things like pineapple, mango, peach, apricot, throw it in with some white wine, some brandy or triple sec or Grand Marnier. Let that thing stew for a little bit, add some carbonated water to it, or, things like Perrier to add a little zest. If you want to add a little more punch and
Man,
sweetness, I guess some Sprite would go in there.
that's
But
good.
there's a lot you can do. Listen, Rob, you've been a phenomenal guest. Happy hour, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure to reach out to Rob House from Simply Automate Inc. Rob, before we go, can you do a brief freestyle for us?
Yeah, I can, man. And also, I want people to know, probably one of the biggest things we've had over this last year was channel partners. And our channel partners are people who they hear what we're doing, then they're like, same way you were like, this is good for wineries. Then they give us relationships, and then we just give them 10%, easy. Like channel partner, that's been the biggest growth because people don't understand what this is. So you get a warm introduction, it's like, oh, people begin to get an understanding. So that's also out there. Not just companies who need help, but if you are somebody who knows companies or you're consulting yourself, or you're like, okay, I see how this could be a good tool in my toolbox. You can reach out as well. We have that channel partner set up for folks as well, man. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, man. So I mean,
Awesome.
we got a freestyle. I don't have any beats right now. With a freestyle with this acapella, me and you.
Sure.
I normally have a beat flowing. You got something, babe? Here, if we pull one over here. Actually, I can pull one over here. Can you hear that beat?
I can hear it.
All right. Virtual happy hour. The drunk and great. Me and Rob. Hoping everybody understands that we got a job. job is to empower people around the world. That's every single man and woman, every boy and girl. I got my glass. He got a drink for monks. Man, that stuff is neat. I want to drink some beer like that every day, every week. Maybe not every day because that would be too much, but I'm going to put my glass up and I know love is enough. Hey, ROB, you and me, awesome. Freestyling, we're going to see everybody understand your destiny, and that's how you'll be on the road to your legacy. Oh, it's true. I thought you knew. If you didn't know, now you know. We're not through. We'll close it like this. We tell you we want love. Get your friends around you, because when push come to shove, we need each other. That's it, man.
Awesome, Rob. Listen, you've been a tremendous guest. Ladies and gentlemen, happy hour. Whatever you decide to do, have a fabulous day. This is Rob from the Drunken Grape.